Your kitchen might look fine now, but we're moving into 2026 and your kitchen is probably screaming renovation of the early 2000s if you have that white or gray kitchen. So today we are going to be going through our design trend predictions for kitchens specifically for 2026, because there are so many trends out there. Now I know kitchens are the heart of the home and a lot of people are always aiming for this space to be timeless. This is where you spend the most time. And this is also the first place that people are going to renovate if they want to switch out their home. Kitchens are also where trends become either disasters or they have the capability of being timeless. So as an interior designer, I've been designing kitchens for people all around the world, and people in every single geographical location have different design trends and different design tastes specifically. Today, we're going to be going through the do's and don'ts of the kitchen design trends of 2026. Statement range hoods. Now these have been introduced in this previous year and they are starting to pick up steam. I have been doing this in a few of my projects and I'm so happy to see that this trend is catching on, because I think this is such an impactful way of really applying a certain detail into your kitchen to make it look beautiful. Now for the longest time, we've had two options for hood fans. One, built into your cabinets, completely hidden, or two, having those giant stainless steel hood fans that come out and are honestly an eyesore because usually stainless steel doesn't go with the rest of the finishes of your kitchen. These statement hood fans are meant to be a focal point. This is an artistic aspect of your kitchen, especially if you have a showroom level kitchen, which I know this isn't for everyone. However, the reasons why I love this is because it creates a really beautiful sculptural moment. Whether you're doing something that's curved on the side or you have something that's really impactful and it has this almost sculptural artistic moment to it. In my opinion, this elevates any kitchen and looks high-end and designer if you're able to have a statement hood fan that either blends into the space or stands out. What's really great about these statement hood fans is that you don't have to have it look like everyone else's. There are so many different materials for these applications to make it catered to you and the design of your kitchen. Whether you're going with a paint finish, whether you go with a plaster, a Venetian plaster, a lime wash, a metal, all of these different applications allow for an impact that draws your attention in and makes your kitchen look high-end. We need to fire or at least fine and send to jail whoever decided to try, and I'm gonna say try, to bring back the honey oak kitchen stain. This was, oh God, I grew up with a honey oak stained kitchen and it is, let's just say I have a personal vendetta against it. It has such a specific hue to it where it's not yellow, it's not orange, it's that in-between color that just looks dirty. As much as I love the color honey, having it on this application for white oaks in your kitchen is not something I would recommend because it pigeonholes you into a very specific color palette that always pulls really yellow and really orange. No matter what application and what finish you use this honey oak for in your kitchen, in my opinion, it has always looked dated and will continue to look dated. When people started introducing this color in the 90s and early 2000s, I was never a fan of it, even as a kid, and now an adult in my career as an interior designer, I hate it even more. The main reason why I don't like honey oak is because it lacks so much dimension that other woods and stains have in kitchens. Piggybacking those statement range hoods is curved range hoods. Now I know technically these could be in the same because it's still a statement, but having these subtle curves is another really subtle way to introduce shape and form into your kitchen if you don't want something super impactful. If you don't want that giant hood fan that draws your attention in, you can have that subtle detail of a plastered finish that just curves and molds into the actual sides of the walls. Now, if you have the luxury of not having upper cabinets, these curved hood fans are such a beautiful feature to just have a small open shelf that kind of traces the perimeter. These pictures are perfect in the application of showing you how beautiful it can really be. If you have the budget for this, doing it in a stone application is like next level. Now, doing a curved application in stone, once again, is going to be extremely expensive, but in my opinion, so worth it because there's just something about creating a form that has been always so strong and rigid, and softening with a curve gives you that extra added flair that looks like nothing else. Now I know I said I was for these curved range hoods, but I want you to remember certain applications and the repetition of this curve needs to be brought into the entirety of the space. If you just have a curved range hood and nothing else in the space has that soft application or repetition to it, you're going to throw off the balance of the room. So make sure you are always bringing in a certain shape, color, color, form, texture, or detail more than once so your eye brings those connections in your space so it feels cohesive. Another interesting trend that I've been watching for the last few years now are stainless steel applications for the kitchen itself. Not just the countertop, but actually introducing it to the cabinets and the drawer faces. Now this can be done really well or very poorly. When it's done poorly, it ends up looking like a chef's kitchen in a commercial space. When it's done well, it has this really beautiful, chic, almost artistic detail to it that only works well in certain design applications. If you have that brutalist style in your home and you want something rustic, that stainless steel application in a brushed form looks so beautiful. But once again, this is very specific because you're gonna have to let me know in the comments if you're for or against stainless steel, because this is one of those controversial topics that people either love or absolutely detest. The only time I've seen this brushed stainless steel look great in applications is when it is paired and contrasted with warm and cool tones. Now, if you are not a designer or do not have that specific eye to pick up how to coordinate warm and cool colors, this is something that I would typically avoid because this is a whole other lesson that I could get into. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments because I feel like this could be another video specifically just talking about how to combine warm and cool, because that is a whole other masterclass. You all know I love and I will die on the hill of natural stone. The only time that I will not actually approve of this in application is for your kitchen countertops if you are going black or really dark. A lot of people moving into 2026 have been wanting to introduce dark countertops. This is where I will tell you no. Once again, there are certain applications that can make this work, but overall dark countertops absorb all of the light. They will also either have a super reflective surface depending on your window and natural light level that you have in the room, but also the challenge with dark countertops. I don't know if you can see this desk, but it is extremely dirty and dusty right now. Even after cleaning it. Dark finishes will attract literally everything in your home. You're going to see every speck of dust, every hair, every crumb on these countertops, especially if you are going with a dark, even with a marbled veining to it. The busier it is, the more contrast it's going to be in your space, and it's not going to feel cohesive. If you're using a dark countertop, they end up not looking sleek. They usually pull quite flat. And the problem with them pulling flat means they look visually heavy. And if they're visually heavy in the space, that's the first and only thing that your eyes are being drawn to. The other challenge with darker stone, unless you're using a granite or a quartzite, because most natural stone that is black or dark is a marble. Marble, as I've said many times before, is extremely porous and will have etching and staining, which can be part of the charm. If you like that patinaed look, in my opinion, it looks so beautiful. The problem with dark stone is that it is going to etch and stain with a white, almost gray-like ring around the water or lemon or anything on that countertop, which makes it almost impossible to hide in the details. And you're going to notice exactly where it's patinaed, exactly where that ring was left, exactly where those leftovers that you left that you didn't want to clean up. So if you are going with a dark countertop, do not go with a marble. This is the only time that I would recommend going with a granite or a quartzite because it is a stronger material. You don't have to worry about that same level of it being super delicate. Now, I spoke about this shift of going from light to dark in a lot of different areas. This is one design trend that I am completely for, especially when it comes to the cabinet finishes of your kitchen. We have been shifting away from this white oak into the walnut and black stained white oak, which in my opinion looks unbelievably chic. If you have a dark kitchen, oh my God, we are instantly going to be friends because there is something about it that looks so well designed. And when I say well designed, there are a lot of specific elements that you need to take into place to make sure a dark kitchen looks beautiful. And one of the biggest details is the amount of dimension that you get into it. I see far too many people doing dark kitchens or black kitchens and they do a flat black finish. Now, while that is beautiful in certain settings, it is non-reflective and it doesn't give any dimension into your space, and it ends up just looking almost as bad as those super white kitchens, in my opinion. The great thing about a walnut finish or a dark stain is that it brings so much more warmth, coziness, and dimension into a kitchen. White oak has always been beautiful, in my opinion, will always remain timeless. But seeing the shift towards these walnut finishes are so beautiful and, in my opinion, look so much more impactful. This one I'm on the fence about, because integrated sinks have so many beautiful applications because it allows you to have that finish continue into the sink so it looks like it's one completely seamless piece. The challenge with integrated sinks in kitchens specifically is that this is a high use, high traffic area. You are using constant cleaning products. You are constantly cleaning, and this is where you put all your dishes, and it leaves a lot of room for error because, once again, natural stone is porous, and if you are doing an integrated sink in your kitchen with that same finish as the countertop, it's going to look beautiful for about 3 months. And as soon as you leave food or wine or coffee in there, it is going to stain and is going to patina a lot faster than the rest of your kitchen. The great thing about natural stone is that it ages with the more that you use it. The problem with an integrated sink in your kitchen, as I mentioned before, it is going to look so dirty and so grungy in comparison to the rest of your countertops that you're going to end up hating it in no time. So when it comes to integrated sinks, I'm a huge fan of them for other applications like powder rooms, but when it comes to your kitchen, I always recommend going with something that is easily cleanable like a stainless steel or a coated ceramic. Decorative lighting in kitchen has been a huge trend for years now, and it's starting to have a much more impactful push. And while I do love a good decorative sconce or a pendant lighting that has a sculptural aspect to it, in kitchen applications, this is something that I typically avoid. I personally don't like this design trend of people introducing these beautiful sculptural pendants that, trust me, they look beautiful and they are extremely expensive. I've seen far too many people putting super expensive pendants in a kitchen application that first, don't look like they belong, and second, the materials do not last in a kitchen. The problem with these decorative lights is they collect grime and dust regularly in comparison to your standard light fixtures that you're just going to have throughout. If you have a wall sconce that's more of an accent off to the side in the backsplash, it can be beautiful. But I want you to think about the applications of how they're actually being installed in your space and what you're doing in your space. Lighting, in my opinion, in kitchen is designed to be task, not sculptural or ambient. So especially with islands now, a lot of people have been doing these beautiful sculptural pendants, which are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but they do not give you the task lighting that you need in a space. Cylindrical downlights have always been one of my favorite applications when it comes to designs of any room, especially a kitchen, because it allows you to prioritize the lighting and task in certain areas and focus the light on the surface itself. The difference between a pot light and a cylindrical downlight is really easy, so I'm going to give you the best kind of visual explanation of it. A pot light on the ceiling is going to give you an overall glow. It's also going to give you a glare. The great thing about a cylindrical downlight is it focuses the light instead of a glow to the area that it's pointed at. So the longer the pivot is on these cylindrical downlights, the more focused the light will be on the surface itself. This design trend for lighting has specifically been shifting towards the architectural aspects of the kitchen instead of those really bright elements that include lighting. I feel like most of these trends are extremely controversial because we've been moving away from the brushed brass into an unlacquered brass finish, which in my opinion, I love so much more. The difference between a brushed brass and an unlacquered brass finish is how these pieces age. A brushed brass is going to be that pre-finished treatment for a plumbing fixture. It looks beautiful and it is great application. It's always going to look exactly how it is. The problem is every other person also has that brushed brass finish and it doesn't have that same impact. What's beautiful about an unlacquered brass is that it patinas and ages over time. Now I know it's not for everyone because it is a living finish. These pictures are going to show you exactly what an unlacquered brass is going to look like throughout the process of its age. It starts very bright and shiny, which is scary, but it tones down to this really almost muted finish that is so beautiful. And what's great about it is because it changes in the way that you use it, it's always going to be personalized and specific to your space. No one else is going to have that exact same aged finish that you are. What I love about unlacquered brass is that it tells a story. You can see where people are touching it more often and it's never going to give you that perfect clean finish. This is what makes it so controversial because some people like to have that perfect look finish and some people like to have that more personalized. So let me know in the comments, are you for or against unlacquered brass? An induction cooktop is not something new, but this has been a design shift that I've been noticing a lot of clients are looking for. Once again, another really controversial one because people that love cooking with gas will die on that hill. The problem with gas cooktops is the level of maintenance and cleaning that is required for it. If you are cleaning your own kitchen, which, you know, like the average person does, not everyone has a cleaner coming in every day. Cooking and cleaning with a gas cooktop is an absolute nightmare. I don't know if you've ever done it before or experienced it, but you will spend 45 minutes after you finish cooking just to clean it up and make it look nice. Introduction of the Induction. This has been a game changer when it comes to cooking. I'm putting an Induction in my kitchen, and honestly, I am so excited for it. The great thing about Induction is that water or any heat is only focused inside the actual container that you're cooking on. So if you have water that boils over from pasta, it's not going to heat up and boil and cook onto that countertop, which makes it an absolute breeze to clean. You can literally wipe off an Induction countertop right after cooking, and you will never have any speck, any etching, any staining. This is the perfect appliance if you like your kitchen looking clean. Now I know we are going to have a fight break out in the comments of the gas cookers being like, yeah, well, it tastes better if you cook on gas. By all means, it may taste better if you are cooking with gas, but at the same time, are you cleaning? Is your wife cleaning? Is your girlfriend cleaning? I'm sure they're gonna have to weigh in on this as well. Last on the list is a prep kitchen or sculleries. Now, once again, this is not anything new. These have been around for years, but this has been a design trend that I've been seeing introduced with a lot of clients that I've been designing kitchens for, is that they have a second kitchen. Could you imagine? I'm living in a tiny condo and I have one kitchen, and people are like, you know what? Let's have two, because I want one kitchen to be a showroom kitchen that doesn't look like anyone lives in this space and everything happens behind the scenes. Now, this is a host's dream. If you want to have that picture perfect kitchen, which in my opinion would be an absolute dream, this is for you. I am quite neutral on this trend though, because it is only for the rich or the people that have enough room to have more than one kitchen in your space, which is not the privilege that most of us have. The great benefit to having these two kitchens is, like I said, everything is done behind the scenes, so everything looks picture perfect as always in your show kitchen. But if you are not a frequent host, if you do not like having big parties and having people over all the time, it is a waste of space. This is something that you need to be using regularly. If you have a massive family or people over every weekend, this is perfect for you. If you have a home that actually has the square footage for having an additional kitchen in the back, I am going to give you props because I think this is fantastic. But I also need you to keep in mind, two kitchens means two of everything. Two fridges, two freezers, two ovens, two microwaves, two stoves, whether you're using induction, gas, or a combination of both, you're practically doubling up on your appliances. So if your appliance package for your home is going to be $40,000, it's now going to be 80, so just keep that in mind. All right, so we've gone through the vibe of 2026. We got elevated design, we got sculptural element. We're moving more towards those darker finishes, which I am so for. 2026 is all about that personalized look, whether you're using unlacquered brass or one-of-a-kind finishes. This is where people are allowing their personality to shine. I want to walk into that kitchen and know exactly the kind of person that lives there just by the way it looks. But now I need to know, please, you gotta let me know in these comments, which ones are you for and which ones are you against? Are you with me or are you against me? Because if you're against me, get out of here. There's a reason, there's a very specific reason you're following me. You come for my opinions, my dictations, and my rules. And guess what? These are the rules moving into 2026 for your kitchens. Now, if you like this video, you need to watch my other one because I do the trend predictions for your overall home for 2026, and it is just as important to understand that as well as your kitchen if you plan on renovating. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. It is such a privilege being able to talk to you all about the upcoming trends for every year because it is wild to see what people want to introduce and what is actually going to stick. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video and you better be subscribed because I know you're watching my videos. We just hit 100,000 and we're going above that. The next one is 1 million, probably gonna be a while, but a girl can dream. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. Phoenix Gray for all my daily tips and tricks. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do?